weight of 113.3 kilograms. So it's not a very easy number, because if we are learning from a hard number and then we do an easy number, then it's gonna be easier for us to calculate harder stuff, or I mean easier stuff. So weight of our patient again is 113.3 kilograms, so he is obese, as we can see. And the first step for intraoperative fluid management is to know the 4-to-1 rule. So what is this 4-to-1 rule? So let's dive in. So this is actually the maintenance of how much we have to give our patient per hour. So example would be, since our patient is 113.3 kilograms, the first 10 kilograms, we replace it with 4 ml per kilogram. Second 10 kilogram would be 2 ml per kg. That's why it's called the 4-to-1 rule. And then the last but not the least is any weight exceeding 20, so 21 kilograms, up to the 113.3 kilos. So in other words, we just plug in 113.3 minus 20, which would be 93.3 kilograms in his case. So now we have to just multiply them. So by 1, and this one by 2 times 10 and 4 times 10. So 40, 20, 93.3. So we just need to add them up together. So 40 plus 20 is 60, plus 93.3 is 153.3. It's going to be our maintenance fluid per hour. And other than that, we also need to calculate, step 2 is to calculate the fluid deficit. So we would know how much we need to really replace on our patient. So it's fluid deficit. So this is calculated by knowing the total amount of hours our patient has been NPO. So NPO, total hours. So in our case, our patient was NPO for 8 hours. So what you do is you get this maintenance calculation. So 153.3 multiplied by 8. So in our calculator, I plugged it in and it's 1,226.4 ml is the total fluid deficit. And then we don't stop here. We also need to step 3, we need to calculate the blood loss. So the blood loss is actually replaced 1:1. So per 1 ml of blood lost, you give 1 ml of crystalloid. So that's easy enough. However, for this, you kind of guesstimate it according to the case per usual amount of blood loss. Or you can also know about the blood loss from your surgeon. He's gonna tell you how much blood loss, or you as the anesthesiologist provider would be the one to look at the canister and see how much blood loss we have. So yep, so step 4 is we need to figure out the insensible fluid loss by means of evaporation. So how does this work? So mild, it's actually classified per kind of surgery. So if the surgery is like a open appendectomy, like not very, let's start with the biggest. So open X-lap, open colon surgery, where the belly of our patient would be having a big amount of incision and a lot of organs are exposed for a long time, then that calls for a severe insensible blood loss, which we need to replace with 7 to 9 ml per kilogram. And then moderate would be open cholecystectomy. It's open, but it's fairly not as big of an incision compared to the X-lap. So for this kind of surgery, we replace it with 4 to 6 ml per kilogram. And for mild, we give 1 to 3 ml per kilograms. So for mild, examples would be like cataract surgery or laparoscopic surgery that does not involve so much blood loss. So now that we know all of these stuff, we can calculate for insensible loss. So example, our patient has a laparoscopic surgery with the bariatric surgery, which is gastric bypass. So this case usually does not have much, it's just small holes. You really don't lose much blood there, or lose a lot of, you also don't lose a lot of fluid from evaporation, since it's not really open. So we can use 2 ml per kg, and our weight again is 113.3 kilograms. Yes, 113.3 kilograms. So we just multiply this. So 113.3 times 2 is 226.6 mLs. So yep, this is the total of the insensible loss that we're gonna replace per hour. Let's just put per hour here so we don't forget. So now we are going to, and then our estimated blood loss for a laparoscopic gastric bypass can be like perhaps 100 or even 50 ml would do. Let's just put 100 ml blood loss estimate. So first, to calculate how much we will be giving our patient, is we need to again refresh your memory of our fluid deficit, which is 1226.4. So we'll just put it here, 1226.4 26.4 ml. And we need to divide this in 3 for 3 hours. First 3 hours. First hour, second hour, and the third hour. So for the first hour, we give 50% of the total. Second hour, 25, and the third hour, another 25. Okay. So 50% of 1226.4 is 613.2. So what I did was I just divided this by 2, which is 50%. And then that 50%, which is 613.2, what I'm doing is I'm just dividing it by 2 to get the half, 1/4 of it. So it's 306.6. Again, it's the same as here, 306.6 mLs. So now that we know how much we need to replace for the fluid deficit, we need to add in our maintenance here. So let's add it in, and it's set here 153.3. So add 153.3, and this is gonna go until this 153.3 ml an hour is gonna go until the end of surgery. But the fluid deficit calculation, this stuff is just for the first 3 hours, okay? And then we also did the insensible loss, which is we already found it out, and it's 226.6 ml, so we can put it in here. So 226.6 ml. And then we need to also add the estimated blood loss that we have, which is, we'll just use 100. So now we need to add them all up. To know how much exactly we need to give our patient. So 613.2 plus 153.3 plus 226.6 equals 993.1, and then 306.6 plus 153.3 plus 226.6 is 686.5. And then 306.6 plus 153.3 plus 226.6 plus another 100, which is 786.5. There's another shortcut. You just, since this and this are the same, you just copy this. Oops. Just copy this part and just add 100. So you don't have to plug it all up in the calculator. So it's 786. So there you have it. That's how we calculate our fluid, maintenance fluid, and fluid replacement for our patient in surgery. As you can tell, it's simple, but it's a lot. I also would like to make sure that I teach you guys how to do the shortcut on the fluid maintenance. There's a shortcut here, which is gonna make your life way easier. So on the 4-2-1 rule, shortcut. Oops. Okay, shortcut. So what you do is you just use the patient's weight, add 40 ml. Super simple, super quick, and it's the same. So that's example 113.3 kilogram, which is our patient, plus 40 ml equals 153.3. So it's the same. But this is a shortcut. So this is way better to use this beautiful shortcut right here.